So, I posted a video on one of my platforms of a presentation I did years ago. And I thought it was kind of funny just to see myself in that capacity. It was like almost like a 7-year-old video, right? And then I decided to just play it back a few more times. And I was thinking to myself, you have to forgive me. Lunch. Triscuits. Okay, so I'm just rude, huh? I'm so hungry. Okay, so I gave y'all a little ASMR video in the first clip. So, like I was saying, I decided to replay the video because I was so impressed with how different I was back then and where I am now. And then I started thinking of all the things that I went through since that video. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I was like thinking to myself, what happened to you? You know, because in the midst, of in between the time of that presentation and where I am now, so much has taken place, from I had 3 children in that video and now I have 4 children and a dog. I was married in that video and now I'm in the process of a divorce. It looks like I was 10, 15 pounds lighter. Now your girl is 10, 15 pounds on the thick side. Okay. And so, and then I seem to have such an innocence about me back then. And then now, I'm more of a realistic thinker, right? And when I speed my life up all the way until now, I recognize a lot of the things and the events that happened to me within that time span, brought about a lot of trauma, brought about a lot of pain, discomfort, and still going through the transition and the motion of it all the way up until this day. So, and then I think about the people who have come and gone in my life since that time. A lot of people fell off the moment I fell off myself. And as I was going through my life crisis and my situation and just the stretch of being a different version of myself, I don't see a lot of those same people as I do now. And then I was thinking about, I can count on maybe one hand like I said, I can count on one hand the number of people who did not leave my side while I was going through my transition, going from being in denial to accepting the truth, grieving what was, spiraling out of control because I'm angry because I can't change, things that took place from that time all the way up until now. And I was thinking this morning, because I'm really big on building your tribe, because this world, as don't care what happened to you. All this world cares about is making sure you show up. So we as adults have to do the work to show up as a better version of So what I was saying, we have to make it our mission to do the work to show up a better version of ourselves so that we don't hurt ourselves or anyone else in the process, so that we won't lose to things we were called to overcome and aspire to be, and things like that. So and it's funny how when you're in your situation and when you're in your trauma, when you're in your pain, when you're going through the situation, and certain people who fall off, we have a tendency to get upset at those who did not continue the journey with you, to see how you have transformed and to see how you have grown and things like that. But then I thought about it, you can't blame people. When you're in the middle of a crisis that you've never been in and you don't know how to handle it, and you're spiraling out of control, people who live in their trauma are often selfish people, because you can't see past what has happened to you. It's very difficult for you to see other people's pain, and you're actually, I liken people who are in victim mode or in trauma mode, I liken them to maybe, in some aspects, now I got to choose my words carefully, but when you go through your process of growth and when you're in the, maybe a situation where you are, either fighting the growth or resisting change, or grieving what was. We go through a lot of ranges of emotions, and then we act off of those things a lot of times if we are not in a safe, if we're not around safe people who can handle that. If you're not in therapy, I'm a huge advocate of therapy. I see us as, when we're in that state, I see us as a drunk driver coming towards your vehicle. So, some people cannot handle, when you go through your crisis, because it ain't cute. And even when you go through your transformation, my god sister said this morning. She was like, I thought transformation was going to be beautiful. It's the bomb. You hear all these beautiful quotes about transforming and growing and healing, but it is one of the ugliest processes that you will have to go through. And a lot of people can't handle, most of us, in fact, can't handle their issues on top of yours, because we're all trying to strive, as adults. We're all, for the most part, trying to do the work to show up better. And it's not fair to expect someone to to be an innocent bystander of your potential head-on collision. So the people who I was hurt by leaving, when I was in the middle of my situation, I now that I'm, continuing my healing process, continuing to grow, to continue to do, I'm learning to not ask and teach on things that I will not and have not done on myself, so that's what makes my conviction greater. I'm not telling you something I heard. I'm telling you something I have been through and going through now, and growing. I think I said growing through, grow, so, we can't expect for people, like I said, to be innocent bystanders, and people have the right, and actually they should, to step out of the way if they feel like they have become at risk to your trauma. It doesn't mean they love you any less. It doesn't mean they respect you any less. But do know that for every moment that you don't change, you have, it is the potential of people stepping out of the way so that they don't get hurt. But then at the same time, I was also thankful for the people who were strong enough to stay and hang in there with me, to see me and be a witness to the woman I'm growing into. You know, they, got to have a front row seat in my transformation. And so I'm just, because I was telling my God sister today, you didn't have to be here. I was telling another friend this recently also, people who have watched me go through certain changes and growth cycles. This is not going to be the first time I have to grow through something. There's going to be something else. There's going to be another situation that hit me that never hit me before, that I'm going to have to grow through and remember the tools that I have acquired from the last battle, the last fight, to get me through what's coming ahead. And that is for all of us, right? So life is not linear. Life is cyclic. We go through cycles, and every cycle that we grow through, the goal is to get to the core of who you really are. And blessed are the ones who have the patience for you while you're going through it. And so that's why I'm so empathetic to other people when I see them going through certain things, to make sure that I can, as much as I can within the best of my ability, to be a support, because I know what that feels like to need support when I'm in a situation that I've never been in before. That's really important. And so that's where your tribe comes in at. That's where your core support system comes in at. Everybody don't have the capacity to handle your inner workings. I have my best friend, Lolly. She told me yesterday, she said, everybody can't handle, she was, it was hilarious. She said, like 50 Shades of Grey. She was like, you like 5 shades of Tay. And so that's my nickname. That's what my very close friends and family call me, Tay. And so she was just like, not everybody can handle your all shades. Some people can only handle you when you're when you're on stage and when you're presenting and when you're happy, but not everybody can handle when you go through your when you're sad about something, or when you're sad or depressed, or when you're grieving your mother, because they may have not ever been down that road, or maybe they don't want what you're going through to trigger them, and you can't be mad at that. You cannot be mad at that. But I'm grateful for those who chose to stay. I'm grateful for the people who chose to stay. I'm grateful for the ones who chose to stay long enough to see me on the other side of pain, on the other side of sorrow, on the other side of anger, resentment, abandonment, trauma. I think there is a beautiful version of every single one of us on the other side of the things that we've gone through in life, if we do what we need to do, and we have the resources that we need to have, and that we have the endurance capacity to press through the storm so that we can come out on the other side. And like I said before, blessed are the ones who are strong enough to hold you up and bear witness to that change, so they can attest to the fact that, I remember when she first got the news about, the death of her mom, or, when she finally let the relationship go, or anything, so life is life. Life happens, so I'm extremely grateful for those who had the capacity to not just work with me in my highs, but also work with me and be honest with me, and during my lows. So that's really what I'm just trying to say. So it really is a blessing to be able to reflect back. I haven't arrived. You will never hear me say that, because the moment something that I've never experienced before comes my way, it may trigger something that a different version. a different version of me that I never saw, or that never came out, less the circumstance came about. And that is for all of us. So that is what I learned about myself. And so hashtag growth, hashtag development, hashtag she ready. And you know what? I just want to say one more thing, because when I was in the midst of going through a lot of processing through my pain, my trauma, people who have known me for years, you kept telling me, you know, I miss the old Tay. And there was just a bubbliness about you, and just a happiness, and just an innocence. And I want the old Tay to come back. Now, let's be honest with you. You know, once a life crisis hits you, you never go back to being the version that you were before. You know, and that's what I had told one of my friends. I will never be the same. You know, I'm getting back to some aspects of me, to a healthier version of me. Or maybe even some aspects that, you know, that you remember me being happy. That's the part that people, you know, when I was in the beginning of spiraling out of control. And I'll tell that story for another day. Okay, I'll tell that story for another day. But and it used to break my heart. Like, I don't know how to get back to that girl. I don't know how to get back to that innocent, you know, version of me. But once truth is revealed to you, and you're forced to deal with the reality of what was, or, you know, because that's what it is. It's what was. Any type of trauma or crisis situation that happened to you, and it's not happening to you today, it is a thing of the past. So a lot of people's time is spent being in the process of grieving. It's that grieving cycle that we have to process through, of what was. Okay. But like I said, you know, and I tell my friends all the time, I will never be the same exact version of the woman I was before the crisis and the trauma and the circumstance came to a head. You may see some aspects of the old version of me, which is the happy, joyful, peaceful version of me, but it's a better version of me. It's a version of me that has made peace with what was, and I'm taking those broken pieces and I'm utilizing it to make myself better, and to give these tools to other people who may need them. So it's a better version of me. And when I think about it, I don't want to go back to the old version of me, because honestly, the old version of me was delusional. A wiser version of me. So, you know, it was good that I shed the skin of the old me. It's not a bad thing. This new version of me is a better version of me. And the more I grow through life, the more of a better version of Tajia people will get to experience. And that is with all of us. And so, but it goes back to my original reason why I even made this post. I'm just happy listen, I ain't fought the ones who had to leave, but I'm grateful for the ones who were strong enough to stay.